pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Hello race fans and welcome to Texas Motor Speedway. We are live here with the Midday Racing League round number 14. Ready to rock and rumble the Texas two-step. Got 10 of the best guys ready to roll here on a Friday afternoon. They say everything's bigger here in Texas, and I tell you what, that remains the case this week. The championship standings are heated up. I mistakenly said last week was the season finale. Apologies about that. It's not. We've got this race plus two more, Charlotte and Gateway, coming up after this. The points lead for Matt Sisler is 19 points. He starts in P4 over his closest competitor, Rick Helms, in 7th place. We'll go through the starting lineup in just a few moments. Garrett Kinder is going to be on the pole here today. Go ahead and show you what the grid looks like. Garrett Kinder with a 29.89, blazing fast. Nick Atwood up in 2nd place. Dave Hunt, then Matt Sisler, Terry Atwood, Christian Ruse, Rick Helms, Matt Butler, William Baker, and Rooster Rodden. Rounding out the field, didn't get a lap in. We'll see if he can get out here ready to race. Looks like he's ready. We're just waiting on Sisler here before we get these cars ready to roll off of the pit lane for 100 laps. It's Matt Sisler, that 00 car, your points leader. 7th place, the 75 Rick Helms. He's the only one with a mathematical shot. Matt Metler is almost, I think he's 99 points behind the race or the championship lead in 3rd. Good season for Matt Metler, just unable to, not going to have enough time to close it down on these guys. So the pace car jumps up on to the high banks. Well, this is the lower of the 2 high banks. A wider reprofiled turns 1 and 2 here in Texas. They took away, I believe, 6 degrees of banking, maybe 4 degrees of banking. They added on about 20 feet. Looks like it added on about 80 feet. And a lot of that track surface is going to be unusable for these guys. It's going to be really tight when they get up out of the groove here. Maybe later on in this race, we'll see where the marbles start to come into effect really later on in the corner. We'll see what these guys have got. 10 of them ready to rock and roll here. 100 laps, 150 miles. Garrett Kinder, he's been fast. Got the win a couple of weeks ago. Dave Hunt sitting in 3rd, won big time in Darlington last week. Gonna try to keep some of that momentum going. Nick Atwood blazing fast in practice, not the quickest. I believe that honor went to Rooster Rodden, who starts at the tail end of this field. So we'll see what he can do in terms of coming through the field. But the pace car makes that hard left turn into the pits. Garrett Kinder leads him into the box. Green flag is out. Hard out of the pedal is the number 13. He gets away by about a car length. This guy's already jumping down to the inside, trying to get position on the next car in front of him. You see him fanning out just a little bit more coming up off of turn number 2. Up into the wall was Matt Metler there for just a moment. Rick Helms is under fire now from Rooster Rodden, who's up near the outside wall there in turns 3 and 4. Not where you want to be, and you can see that car wiggling up just a little bit. William Baker having a tough go of it the first lap. Into the grass goes Terry Atwood. He's going to keep her straight, but keeps it down out of the way here. He's going to fall back to last place. Fantastic save. William Baker gets up to the top side, like I mentioned in that pace lap. That's not where you want to be. Not going to be the easiest place to run, but he's going to fall back in behind Terry Atwood. Maybe try to get regather his bearings here and get back up towards the front. Garrett Kinder leads over Dave Hunt. Matt Sisler's worked his way up into 3rd place from 4th. Rick Helms, he still sits in 7th place behind Matt Metler, who's up 2 spots from where he started in 8th. He's now 6th. Christian Ruse, also, he's gone up a spot. Sits right behind Nick Atwood. He's gone down at 2 spots after starting in 2nd place. Already a wild first few laps here is now Rick Helms under fire from Rooster Rodden once again. You know how fast Helms was on the short track in Richmond. Texas has 1 set of flat corners, but I don't think that's going to translate very much here. As you see Helms getting down to the inside now. Looked like he was going to try to make a move on Rodden, but that 1 lane up seems to be working a little bit better at the midpoint of the pack. Nick Atwood finds himself in between. He's got Christian Ruse about half a second behind him, half a second in front of him. You see the 00 of Matt Sisler. And show you what the gaps are as they scroll through up on top. Rooster Rodden now getting down to the underside of Matt Metler. This is for 6th place. Can't quite get the pass done, but now he gets down to the preferred lane, the inside into 3. Matt gets a little bit loose. Rodden comes up the track. They give each other a bit of space. Metler might have to let off there. Helms gets a little bit loose. Matt Metler stays up next to the wall. Terry Atwood's going to get around him as well. Great driving by all these guys to not make contact. I think Metler just didn't expect to have Rodden so close to him through the middle of the corner. They kind of both came for the same piece of real estate. Good job on both of them for not crashing. These guys have been super clean. I know that they've been racing each other throughout these last, well, really all season. These last couple of weeks, I've seen a lot of respectful racing, some green flag runs. Definitely refreshing to see that. Love to see the strategy play out. And looks like we might have had a little bit of contact there with Christian Ruse getting up into the wall. Looks like that right side might be okay. Might have just been a lag spike. Rick Helms, he's not going the way he wants to right now. He's under fire now from Terry Atwood. Still side by side, rocking through turns 1 and 2, though. He's working about a lane or two up off of the bottom. Gets him a little bit of momentum down the back straightaway, but I'm not too sure if it's going to be enough to propel him up in front of that 24. He's going to need a nice entry here to keep that momentum rolling up off the exit. Meanwhile, we've got a pass for the race lead. Dave Hunt up onto the top side. He's taking the race lead over from Garrett Kinder, at least for that lap. He's wide entering the corner. He stays about 3 lanes up. Kinder's got himself a better exit on the bottom, but Dave Hunt still side by side. Who's Sisler going to go with? Sisler stays in behind Kinder. Now he jumps up behind Hunt. Is he going to try to make the middle work? Not this time. Not going to be the space. Hunt gets a little bit loose up on the top side. Kinder holds out of the throttle. He stays in. William Baker has crashed. He's jumped to the pits. We'll get you caught up on that in just a few moments. These guys still side by side for the lead, and that's allowed for Nick Atwood to get back up here. It's now a 4-car race for the lead. Getting to be side by side for third now, just about. Atwood not sure which way to go. Neither is Sisler, but Dave Hunt really working this top side in. Sisler a little bit loose. There comes down in front of the 24. Got to take the wide angle for this so we can see just where all 4 of these guys are running. The momentum shifts to the 13 coming up off of the corner, but as they get to the straightaway, the side draft is in the favor of the 53. A push from the 00 of Sisler. Huge shot getting down into the corner. That's going to give Hunt about half a car length, but he wiggles. Coming across the front straightaway, they're single file behind the top 2. They take the path of least resistance, taking the wider angle, and now here comes Sisler, both defending and trying to attack, trying to figure out which way to go. It's tough in that dirty air. With both of these cars up in front of you punching such a big hole, but I tell you what, these guys sitting side by side like this could bring Christian Ruse up in here. He's less than a second away. Rooster Rodden, he's worked his way up. He's 2 seconds behind this pack. These guys keep punching a big hole in the air. Brings these guys closer. They're still side by side, dead even for the race lead. And now, just as I say that, we're going to go 3 wide per second coming up off of turn 2. Oh, a little bit of contact between Hunt and Sisler. Now Sisler down to the bottom of Hunt. Hunt's not going to give him too much space. I don't know if he liked that contact, but he's getting loose up on the top. Those tires might be struggling now. Garrett Kinder, seeing this side by side behind him, is loving it. Might allow him to get himself a little bit of a gap. Christian Ruse and Rooster Rodden seem to have gotten closer together back behind this battle. Matt says, so sideways is the 23 into the inside wall. Nick Atwood with heavy wall contact. You see how well that car corner is getting down into 3 and 4, but he's definitely lost some pace. He's going to stay out. Maybe try to tag along with the 14 and 01. He's going to race with that 01 here. He doesn't feel like there's too much damage to that car. I suppose with this new next-gen car, as long as you don't break a toe link, these things are pretty durable. Here comes Rodden down to the inside, though. There might be a little bit of aero damage to that 24. Its scoring shows it as the 23. Both Nick Atwood and Woody are both in a 24 paint scheme, the Atwoods are. But, so, sorry for the confusion there. When you see Atwood 23 up on top, that's the one we're looking at right now. That's Nick Atwood. And the one scored as the 24 is this 24. Terry Atwood, Woody in the Joyco Chevy Camaro. Still side by side, though, with Rooster Rodden and Nick Atwood. Dave Hunt was able to get in front of Matt Sisler. But Garrett Kinder has worked his way out to about a second of a lead. Dave Hunt, he might have used up a lot of those tires up on the top side. Rodden works the top side over the 24. Almost has him clear down the back straightaway. He does have him clear. Meanwhile, Matt Metler and Rick Helms racing side by side for 8th. Helms not having the start to this race that he wants, and with only 100 laps, I mean, it's not like your standard endurance cup race that we're used to seeing on Sundays. This is kind of a quicker sprint. You're going to have one shot at a pit stop, and if you don't get any cautions, it's going to be a tough one to overcome. Dave Hunt has Matt Sisler all over his rear bumper, though, and Sisler's got to be thinking, if I could just get around this 53, I know I could get up there. I could probably race with that 13. You know that 00's hungry. He's got 2 wins on the season, and they came in the first 2 weeks of the year. Talking about Daytona and Fontana, 2 completely different styles of racing. But Texas, I do see a little similarity in terms of Texas to Fontana. Well, now that I kind of say it, I want to in terms of turns 1 and 2. If you can arc 1 and 2 right, you can make up some mean time. But you just can't work the top side like you could at Fontana. So comparison nullified. Trice HD says, let's go Kinder. Kinder leading the race right now. He's got himself a 2.5 seconds over those 2 we were just watching. They're trying to draft up to him, or so it would seem. Matt Betler has gotten around Terry Atwood for 7th place. Sisler and Hunt, though, still running almost tandem. Sisler slides up throughout 3 and 4 right there. Now that we're 20 laps into this race, it's going to be tough for these guys. The runs are going to start becoming less and less. The tires are going to wear more and more. A mistake could certainly mean more than it did before, but dirty air is going to be big at this point in the run. So you can see these guys kind of swapping lap times back and forth. A 10th in one way, a 10th the other. A couple hundreds here and there, but so far in the favor of Dave Hunt. Jump up in front of these guys, though. Every single lap, it's been almost or over a 10th quicker. This time around, Dave Hunt just a couple of 100ths quicker. That gap still sits at 1.6 seconds. It's going to be tough to overcome on these older tires as we get into dirtier air. We'll see if potentially lap traffic comes into play here, though. Doesn't really look like it. Most of the cars still on the same straightaway, which goes to show how the parity in this league. These guys are super competitive with each other. A lot of similarly ranked drivers in terms of speed. That definitely makes it fun for us here up in the booth, and hopefully for you guys at home watching. Christian Ruse getting passed by Nick Atwood. Atwood moves back up into 4th place. He's about 4.5 seconds off the race lead right now. Rooster Rodden, we saw him so fast in practice, fast in qualifying. He's up in front of this 4-car battle here involving Terry Atwood, Matt Metler, and Rick Helms, who sits just at the tail of it, continuing to lose time to the race leader, just kind of hanging in there. Sliding a little bit wide, coming up off a turn, or through the middle of turns 1 and 2. Matt Metler scrapes the wall coming up off a 2. Doesn't seem to have slowed him down much. Garrett Kinder has not slowed down at all. Dave Hunt tried to keep it within 2 seconds, but he's been able to gap himself a bit from Matt Sisler. Nick Atwood about 1.7 seconds behind Matt Sisler right now, and Christian Ruse sitting in the top 5. Haven't seen him in a couple weeks. Definitely glad to see him out here. We're going to go ahead and take just a quick break here. We'll be right back with some more fantastic racing action here at Texas. Back live, this battle towards the back of the pack has dissipated just a little bit. Rick Helms losing sight of these guys. Matt Metler just in front of him. Terry Atwood, Rooster Rodden going from 9th to 6th now. Christian Ruse still sits in the top 5, just about half a second behind Nick Atwood. Garrett Kinder has increased his gap by another 1/10.5. It's up to 1.9 seconds across the line. Matt Sisler falling back a considerable amount at 3 seconds behind Garrett Kinder. Terry Atwood into the pits. He's going to be the first one. He's going to more than likely try for a 2-stopper here. So we'll see if that opens the floodgates for any of these other guys. Figure a 2-stopper, they go about 33 laps each time, go in at 33, 66, and then go home the rest of the way. But then, of course, you've got your 1-stopper where you come in at around halfway, try to manage those tires. And these guys are losing about a second a lap compared to their fastest laps of the race. And here comes Garrett Kinder into the pits. Dave Hunt going to come in and follow him. Hunt attacking. I don't know if he's going to get down in time. He locked up. We'll see if he gets in. Rooster Rodden stays out. Ruse, Atwood, Sisler stays out. But Garrett Kinder and Dave Hunt into the pits. We're going to keep an eye on Dave Hunt, though. See if he's got to spend an extended amount of time on pit lane. Sisler, Atwood, Ruse, do they come in this time? Doesn't look like it. Dave Hunt gets out of the pits. Garrett Kinder gets out first, but tell you what, I was almost certain that 53 was going to be too fast on entry. Rooster Rodden into the pits this time. Matt Sisler, Nick Atwood, Christian Ruse going to try to play the longer game here. Sisler's got himself some clean air now. That's not something he's had before. At least not yet tonight. He was up as high as 2nd. But couldn't quite complete the pass on Dave Hunt. Hunt was able to gap him a little bit more. We'll see what the plan is out of these top 3. If they're going to try to 1-stop it. Garrett Kinder right now sits just over a lap down. He's 37 seconds off of the race lead. And once again, these strategy doors are busted wide open. That's one of my favorite things about this league. The race lengths are almost perfect for this type of split strategy here. So you see that 24 gets right up next to the wall. Might have been a little bit of a scrape. And it seems like that car is handling pretty good based on the damage that we saw him getting loose coming up off of 2. It seemed like a pretty decent amount of contact to the inside wall. Right now, he's sitting right behind Matt Sisler, chasing him down, actually running within a car length of him, looking to the top side into 1. Now dives down to the bottom. And I tell you what, that 00 did not put up a fight one bit. Matt Metler comes into the pits. Looks like Sisler's going to try to look low coming up off of 2. Doesn't quite have enough momentum to get there. He slots in behind that 24. Talked a little bit with Nick before the broadcast got started. He's been working in this longer run type of race car. That's what he's been trying to get done. See, Matt Metler had maybe a little bit of an excursion coming up off of the pits there. Oh, I believe he drove in a little bit too far in his box. Had to back up. Nick Atwood, your race leader. 38 laps complete, approaching lap number 40. Leads by about half a second over Matt Sisler, Christian Ruse, and Rick Helms. Garrett Kinder has been able to gain about 4 seconds back. Nick Atwood's times are only about 2/10 off of what Garrett Kinder was running before he came into the pits, though. So we'll see how that changes throughout the course of this run. With these guys more than likely looking for a one-stop strategy here. Christian Ruse getting towards the back bumper here of Matt Sisler. Ruse with a nice run coming up off of turn 2. He's going to look to the inside into 3. Sisler doesn't want to give him the space, but he seems like he kind of has to now. Potentially a pit stop there out of the 24. From the race lead, Nick Atwood, he's not going to try to go halfway here. He's coming in now. Garrett Kinder's up in this deal, unlapping himself. Dave Hunt, he's lost himself about 2 seconds to the race, effective race leader, Garrett Kinder there. So overall, about half a second lost in terms of that pit cycle, but seeing that the 13 get through the lapped cars as quickly as he did cannot be an easy feeling for Dave Hunt. Or not lapped cars, rather your off-strategy race leaders. They've got a really good chance of getting to halfway here, though. With both strategies still having one pit stop left, I believe this thing is still pretty much wide open. Gary Atwood trying to chase down Rooster Rodden. That's the battle for 6th place. Coming up off of turn number 4. Yeah, staying steady around a quarter of a second here. Gap up front, though, increasing just a bit in favor of Matt Sisler. Garrett Kinder, he's got himself 2.5 seconds over Dave Hunt. Rooster Rodden is 11 seconds now behind Garrett Kinder. 27 seconds behind the race lead, though, is Garrett Kinder, behind Matt Sisler. We saw he just unlapped himself a couple of laps ago. Bruce tried to change up his line a little bit there. He was about a 10th quicker. Right on board here, sit on the nose piece of this machine. Enters in a little bit wider, shifts it down, tries to cut down. He's getting himself a nice run coming up off the corner, though. This is as close as we've seen him in a couple of laps. Another good run up top for Christian Ruse. Gets within a car length coming down the back straightaway. And these guys are doing this on 47 lap older tires. And here comes Christian Ruse coming in just before halfway. Got to try to get down to 45, and he does. Going to leave Matt Sisler out all on his own. Rick Helms, I would imagine he's going to stay out, actually. I thought he was going to come in that time. He stays out. Matt Sisler, go ahead and see what he's got planned as he approaches halfway. Christian Ruse either deciding this is a good spot to make it to the end on fuel, or maybe just pushed as far as he could and couldn't make it. But we'll find out as the race progresses. I can't imagine Sisler wasn't saving gas as he was falling behind Dave Hunt, was he? Is that maybe why he fell back? Right now, he's got 11 seconds over Rick Helms, 21 seconds over Garrett Kinder. Kinder, the first one on fresher tires. Though he last pitted 17 laps ago, probably 16 laps away from another pit stop. And here comes the race leader into the pits. Matt Sisler made it halfway the first time. He's only got half to go. Rick Helms comes in as well as Matt Metler. So Garrett Kinder is going to assume the race lead. He's got 3 seconds over Dave Hunt, who now assumes second. Dave Hunt has the quicker lap overall, but Garrett Kinder, last time around, 0.6 quicker. Go ahead and bring up that lap time comparison again. You can see just about every time it's a 1/10 or more. So Garrett Kinder looking pretty strong here, just past halfway. Everybody's made a pit stop so far. Gonna go ahead and take a quick turn it up break so you guys can hear the sights and sounds of your favorite drivers here on a Friday afternoon. We'll be right back. Things heating up just a little bit more here with Matt Sisler chasing down Christian Roos. Roos tried the undercut on him, pitted about 3-4 laps earlier, and now Matt Sisler has gotten back to the back bumper of Christian Roos. It was almost looking like Roos was going to have the quicker time on worn out stuff on the older tires, longer run car, but Matt Sisler early on in this run really putting together a nice showing. We'll see if these guys can maybe draft, stay together, see what they've got. Nick Atwood, he had to pit around lap 40. Did not take his fast repair. He currently sits in 4th place. He is in front of Matt Sisler and Christian Roos, but I don't see him getting to the end. Meanwhile, Matt Sisler, just as we looked away, was able to complete the pass. Gets around the 14 of Christian Roos, put Matt Sisler up into 6th place. And we'll say, as of right now, the first guy who's going to be able to make it to the end on fuel. He's got 22.5 seconds separating him and Garrett Kinder. We'll see how much of that gap he can overcome in the next 8 or so laps before Kinder comes into the pits. Imagine he's going to come in around 66, 67, having come in around coming in at 33. Garrett Kinder has been absolutely phenomenal. Trice HD in the chat said, "Let's go Kinder" earlier on, so definitely good to see him doing well for a potential fan up in the chat. And if you guys are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit the like, hit the bell so you never miss a race. We've got fantastic racing 7 nights a week live here on the Sim Racing Media YouTube channel. And here comes the 13 Garrett Kinder coming in a little bit earlier than I expected. Lap number 59. Dave Hunt's going to stay out. Going to lead this lap. Rooster Rodden stays out as well. Interesting call there from the 13. He's going to have to run 40 laps on this set of tires. 41 laps. Longer than he's gone on a set all night, but he's driven incredibly well so far throughout the race. I can't imagine this would be a bad call. In and out. He's going to go a lap down, though. He's already lost almost 20 seconds to Matt Sisler. Terry Atwood, he's into the pits now. Dave Hunt still staying out. He might be sticking true to that 66 area pit window. Nick Atwood, he's come into the pits. Knew he had to come in again. Matt Sisler and Christian Roos, they stay nose to tail. Roos might be in save mode here, knowing that he's made the pit stop a couple laps earlier than Matt Sisler here. He might be saving some fuel, saving some tire, trying to stay in the draft here so that he can stand a chance at the end. You don't want to stay in that wake, though. You don't want to have too much trouble in that dirty air, because we've seen how that can tear up these tires, wear them out. We saw how the gaps increased at the beginning of this race, especially after they were 2 by 2 right under a blanket. Top 4 racing for the race lead. Roos running a little bit higher, staying out of the wake of the 00, but losing some time now. It's down to, or it's up to 0.4 of a second. Dave Hunt has 15 seconds of a lead over Matt Sisler. Rooster Rodden sits in 5 seconds, 5.5 seconds off of Dave Hunt in second place. Dave Hunt getting into some traffic here. That 24 car, little loose coming up off the corner in front of him, but very fast on much fresher tires. Rick Helms also trying to unlap himself once here. Looks like Dave Hunt's not going to fight him too hard on that. Gives him the inside lane. Says, on your way. And into the pits comes Dave Hunt. Just as Garrett Kinder was getting ready to unlap himself, Dave Hunt comes into the pits. Lap number 65. Rooster Rodden follows him in. That's going to give the race lead to Matt Sisler. He's got 17 seconds on Garrett Kinder, who just put down the fastest lap of the race at 29.88. He's going to be about a second quicker than Matt Sisler and Christian Roos each time around. But the question is, are those tires going to equalize out in the favor of the top two, or is Garrett Kinder just going to be flying past these guys for the rest of the race? Half a lap is a long way to go, but there is a lot of race left here. 34 laps to go. Christian Roos half a second back. Rick Helms 15 seconds back. Garrett Kinder. This is going to be a pass for position, but these guys are not on the same strategy. Kinder's got himself about 9 lap fresher tires. Helms came in at lap number 50 compared to Garrett Kinder's lap 59. Doesn't look like Helms is going to make it a super easy pass for the 13 as they come up off of turn number 2. Kinder's still not quite able to get down to the inside. He's going to look now. Helms gives him the opening. Now Garrett Kinder's going to get around. He is now 15 seconds back of the race lead with 33 laps to go. And we've seen these things go either way. We've seen where the later pit stop, the fresher tires can be the real beneficiary. We've also seen where there's just not enough time. Garrett Kinder, he's putting down super quick laps, a 30.27 that last time around. We'll see what he's got this time. A 30.20, so about half a second quicker that time around, but the lap time starting to close down, starting to close into around the same number. 30.76 for Matt Sisler. See what he's got across the line. 30.77. Christian Roos is losing some time here. He's got a gaggle of cars on fresher tires coming up on him. I tell you what, if you're Garrett Kinder right now, you want to see that guy, you want to see that group catch up to the 00. Slow him down just as much as he's slowing down the 14 in front of you. Maybe even for the 14 of Roos, if he can slot in behind this group, chase down Sisler a little bit more, and then when he gets swept up by him, try to take advantage. All the way up to the top of the racetrack goes Matt Metler. He's going to get out of the way here a little bit. .30.06 last time around for Garrett Kinder. He is just picking up the pace, running phenomenal laps. You're about 12 laps into his tire stint. Consistently in the 37s is Matt Sisler, but is that going to be enough to keep Garrett Kinder behind him? See what Kinder runs across the line. 30.22, so 0.6 quicker. Sisler going to try to get some of the toe here and hope that improves his lap time a bit, but this is going to be a chess game. Sisler might still have a shot at the race win if he can get through without a mistake. 30.60 in favor to Sisler that time. You can see on the track map 00 coming across the line now. The 13 just getting into turn number 3. So about a third of a lap at the moment. Rooster Rodden gets around Sisler there. It'll be 25 to go this time around. Matt Sisler has got 11 seconds. Last time around, it was half a second in favor of Garrett Kinder. If that math continues the same way, that's going to go into Kinder's favor with a couple laps to go. Matt's got to dig deep, try to figure out everything he can to get around as quick as he possibly can. And Garrett Kinder, he's just got to keep clicking away these laps like he is. He has been impressive this late in the run. He's put 17 laps on his tires. He's only 3/10 off his quickest time of the race. He is definitely firing on all cylinders here tonight at Texas. It has been fantastic to watch here. Brewster Rodden trying to chase down Nick Atwood. We saw these guys get around your race leaders just a little while ago. That time around, it was only 3/10 quicker for the number 13 machine, Garrett Kinder. Remember, we still got Christian Roos still sitting in second. Can't forget about him. He's only a second off of the race lead. He's been as far back as 2 seconds on this run. Maybe he's gotten the all clear to go to the end on fuel. He's chased him down a little bit. He's gotten to the 1 second range, trying to get within that 1 second range. These guys all have the tough task of keeping that 13 car behind them. Matt Sisler that time really struggled around the corners. A 31.03. Not what you want to have happen as Garrett Kinder's tires start to fall off. You want to be able to take advantage of it. It's going to be tough, though. Not impossible, but it's going to be tough for either one of these guys. All three of them up in the top three. 30.91 for both of the top two. A 30.58 for Garrett Kinder. Sideways goes Matt Metler there coming up off of the corner. Christian Roos might have had himself a little bit of a moment coming up off of two. Sitting in the car of Garrett Kinder down the front straightaway. Can you see the leaders? Just barely getting into the corner. You can see them for a second. They look like raisins in the front of the screen, but going to get a little bit bigger and bigger until you get up to the back bumper here. At least that's what this 13 machine is hoping. Last time around, it was only 1/10 in favor of Garrett Kinder, though. We have 20 laps to go across the line. Sisler's gapped Christian Roos just a little bit more. It's over 1.5 seconds now. Roos is still kind of trying to deal with Metler a little bit. Metler's a couple laps down. They're similar in pace. Roos wants to maybe utilize the toe, utilize that reduced drag that he can to try to stay closer to Matt Sisler. He does not want to have that 93 get in front of him. Three-tenths in the favor of Kinder that time. Still in the 8-second range. It's 8.2 with 19 laps to go. I was confident with Kinder hitting half a second quicker laps, but it's going to be tough for him if he can't keep pulling those off. Moving in the right direction. Matt Sisler has 7.5 seconds of a lead. It's 1.3 over Christian Roos. I wonder if Matt Sisler is saving it all. Breathe in the throttle through 3 and 4. Definitely a lot of coasting there for the 00 machine. Now look at Matt Metler drifting back there. Yeah, I said these cars don't have a lot of slip angle. Matt Metler is out here proving me wrong. Back up front. Less than 7 seconds to third. Less than 1.5 to second. Matt Sisler has 16 circuits to get her done here. Just under 24 miles here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Matt Metler super sideways again. We might just want to keep an eye on him coming up off of turn 2 because he is just trying to eat everything but the wall there. Giving it all she's got in that number 93 Metallica SRT Cobra. SVT Cobra. Who's closing in just a bit though? Oh, Ruse fully on the clutch here trying to save it. He's not shifting down, and Sisler isn't either. Garrett Kinder massively loose coming up off of 2. That might spell disaster for his tires as it's still a 6-second gap from first to third. 1.3 from first to second. Christian Ruse, we heard him clutching down the front straightaway. We'll see if he can make it to the end. We'll see if he can make it for one final push. Things are starting to heat up here with 13 laps to go here in Texas Motor Speedway. Quickest car on the racetrack right now is Dave Hunt. He's chased down Rick Helms. Helms sitting in 4th place, trying to limit the damage that Matt Sisler creates if he wins this race, if he's able to pull this off. Up the racetrack goes Helms. That's going to give Dave Hunt the chance to get down to the inside. Helms has a bit of momentum coming up off of turn 2. But Dave Hunt with the right line getting down into turn number 3 is going to complete that pass. Coming up out of turn number 4, increasing that gap by just a couple of car lengths here. It's now 3 car lengths, 4 car lengths across the line. Dave Hunt has 4th place on lock and now looks it forward about 11 seconds to Garrett Kinder, who sits in 3rd. Race up front still unchanged though. Matt Sisler leads Christian Ruse, Garrett Kinder. Ruse now 2 seconds back. We heard him clutching it, getting down into the corner that last couple of laps ago. Christian Ruse definitely trying to make it to the end here on a long tank of fuel. It's going to be a tough ask, but that 14 machine, he's made his bet for the day. He's going to have to roll the dice here. Matt Sisler holds on by about 2 seconds as we approach 9 laps to go. His strategy has been almost perfect. I don't want to say flawless, because Garrett Kinder is pretty much on the same boat in terms of not making a mistake all day, but the strategy call could be where things are left off. Nick Atwood has come into the pits, get some service done here at the end. Matt Sisler, 7 laps to go here. Or 8 laps to go, rather. It's going to be tough for anybody to be able to get to his back bumper here. Garrett Kinder still over 5 seconds back. Christian Ruse over 2 seconds back. Ruse is going to have to start pushing hard now if he wants to make it to him. We'll see if he can afford to dive it in here. Not quite yet. He's still trying to get to that fuel number. He loses a lot of time getting down into turns 1 and 2 when he does that. Obviously, you've got to take what you can get here, but Bruce Durant side by side with Rick Helms across the front straightaway. Looks like it's going to be a relatively easy pass there for the 0-1 as he gets down in front. Rick Helms drives it in deep on the top side. That's not going to work out super well for him. The tire discrepancy well in the favor of the 0-1 machine. So that time around, Matt Sisler was actually quicker than Garrett Kinder. Still sits at 5.7 seconds. It's going to take something huge for Garrett Kinder to get there. Christian Ruse could potentially make it to the end from here. He might be able to get a tow and make a race for it. 5 to go, though. It's going to be tough. 2.1. Doesn't sound like he's under power getting down into turns 1 and 2. Loses another 0.2 there, but coming up off the corner, seems to gain it right back. So even trying to hit this fuel number, pretty consistent with Sisler. Listen to see over these last, we're here with 4 laps to go. See if Matt Sisler's got any concern with fuel. Does not sound like it. Might be lifting a bit early, but that could also be the fact that he's on 46 lap old tires and doing a whale of a job on them too. Let's not forget Christian Ruse, who's out here on 50 lap old tires, sitting in second place. He's still got 3.5 seconds between him and Garrett Kinder. These guys running considerably similar lap times, so it looks like Ruse might be able to come away with a second place. Three laps to go. It goes Matt Sisler, Christian Ruse, Garrett Kinder, Dave Hunt, Rooster Rodden, Rick Helms, Terry Atwood, Nick Atwood, Matt Metler, and William Baker, who went out of the race on lap number 7, will be the only DNF here today. 2 more laps, though. 3 more miles for Matt Sisler. Looking for his 3rd win of the season. Went back-to-back. Remember at Daytona, makes it through a wild last lap crash where basically the entire field in front of him crashed. He got through in the grass, comes across the line, takes the checkered flag, follows it up a week later at Auto Club, putting on yet another dominating performance, gets away in the lead, doesn't really look back, gets the checkered flag, goes 2 for 2 to start the season. But he hasn't been able to win since then. That was 12 weeks ago. Today looks to be his day, though, as he has got 3 seconds of a lead over Christian Ruse. Matt Metler's having himself a little bit of trouble, but after the white flag, that's not going to matter. It's 3 seconds over Christian Ruse, almost 6 seconds over Garrett Kinder, and with 1 stop directly at halfway, Matt Sisler's going to come off of turn number 4 and take his 3rd win of the season here in the Midday Racing League. Christian Ruse comes across seemingly out of fuel in second place. Garrett Kinder crosses the line in 3rd to round out the podium. Then we've got Dave Hunt, Rooster Rodden just behind him. Rick Helms going to come across the line. Terry Atwood, Nick Atwood, Matt Metler, and then William Baker going to round out the field. Go ahead and show you guys these results now as we just ran through them before we watch Matt Sisler burn it down. And we're going to go ahead and get a few words with our race winner here. Hey, Matt, it's Liam up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, Liam, I have a copy.
Well, it's kind of been a long time coming, but you finally got win number 3 on the season here. Walk us through your day and well, first off, was it going to be the call all day to go on 1 stop, or did that come about a little later on?
Uh, about halfway through the first stint, I kind of sat there and I realized, hey, wait a minute. I'm only about a lap shy of making it. So I kind of went, well, I just got to back off. And I think that's, where I start, you probably saw on the broadcast that I started to drop back from the 53. I was just trying to like save fuel, get to lap 50. And then I got to lap 50 and we're good. And I came out and we were, 49 laps to go and I was 2 laps to the good. So I just, it was just save, save, save. And then I swear, I thought Garrett was going to get me. I could see him getting closer and closer. And I think he just stalled out about 5.5 back. It definitely is a long time coming. I didn't expect this one, but we'll take it to the bank.
Yeah, talk us through that tire save you put on in the second half of that race. It was an absolute masterclass. I mean, you had Garrett Kinder chase you down from, I believe he was up at 22 seconds when he came off of the pit lane. He got it all the way down to about 5, and then at the end, you actually started to increase that gap. So, I mean, what's it take to save tires at a track so diverse like Texas?
Well, pulling the Harvick, like your broadcast colleague Matt Metler usually says about me, pulling the Harvick. I think rolling the bottom, I think saves tires, and it helps when you're fuel saving as well, because then you're also tire saving. You're lifting off early on entry. You're getting back to the power midway through the corner where the car naturally is just going to rotate, and you're not forcing it to come back on the power and try to slide it. I think my tires at the end of the first stint were starting to go away a little. So it ended up helping that we were able to, like I said, it was fuel save, fuel save, fuel save. And then, we managed to hang out and bring our Apex Tech Mustang home as a winner for the third time this season.
Well, congratulations on yet another strong performance here. Before we let you go, who do you want to thank for such a strong run?
Christian for putting on this league. It's been a lot of fun to race in this league this season. Obviously, our title sponsors for Apex Tech Racing, Apex Technologies US and Apex Tech Racing Supply. All of our other sponsors, Pro Simrig, TPI, Meridian, HD Anywhere, Base Performance Simulators. Probably forgetting one or another, but whatever. Ford, I guess, if you want to throw that in there, although all the cars are the same. And then, of course, you guys up in the broadcast booth over at SRM doing a great job every week.
Some stuff, Matt. Congratulations on the win and the increased points lead. We'll see you next week at Charlotte.
Sounds good. Take care, man.
There's your race winner. We'll go ahead and get with second place finisher Christian Ruse. Christian, it's Liam up in the booth. You got a copy. Hey, Christian, it's Liam up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do, sir. How's it going?
Not too bad, man. You fought your way. You saved your way to a second place finish. Walk us through that second stint. Did you? I mean, it sounded like you ran out of gas coming across the line.
Yeah, I made the mistake of shifting for the first stint, and actually cost myself a couple laps of fuel there. And then I realized that if I saved it, I might be cutting it pretty close there at the end. So the second stint, I was clutching basically from end of the dog leg all the way through 1, and then I'd pick the gas back up in 2 to try to save as much as I could. There were times where my fuel calculator was saying I was a lap to the good, and then there was other times it was a lap or 2 to the bad. So I was really flirting with disaster there. I actually ran out coming out of 4 there, coming across the line, which is farther than I thought I could make it. Huge shout out to huge props to Sisler for making it as long as he did. I know if I would have been able to pit same time he did first stint, probably would have been able to run with him there, but is what it is. I'm really happy with the second place finish and saving as much as I did.
Yeah, definitely a strong run for you. We haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, so we're glad to see you back. Glad to see you performing strong. And like you said, Sisler able to last a little bit longer on that first stint. Do you think you guys had pretty equal speed there?
I think we did. It took me a little bit to figure the track out. I only had about 5 minutes of practice before qualifying. I know the first stint he was considerably faster than I was. I started catching him towards the end of the first stint there, and I think if we would have been able to run heads up, speed would have been equal for both of us. It might have come down to tire saving strategy after that.
Well, awesome stuff, man. You put on a master class of fuel saving in that second half of the race. I don't know how you made it 53 laps on what do you guys got, 75%?
Yeah, yep, 75% fuel
That is
here.
insane, man. So props to you for that. Is there anybody you want to thank before we let you go celebrate?
Yeah, huge thank you to you guys for putting this on, or for broadcasting for us. Thanks to 13 Speed, Smoke Pit, First Page Media. This is the first time I'm running this Mustang this year. 13 Speed owner Chris Papa painted this for me for another league, and figured it'd look good under the lights. And you know what? It did me pretty well. So huge thanks to him. Thanks to all the guys that showed up for the race this week. I know car count isn't always the greatest, but it's nice to see the dedicated guys show up week in, week out. 13 Speed, Extreme Automotive Detailing, Lafler Labor Services, and Evan Ethel for teaching me how to save fuel like that. He won at Dover last season or 2 seasons ago on a huge fuel saving strategy or fuel strategy game. So props to him for that.
Well, awesome stuff. And once again, props to you for such a strong run here today. Glad to see you back. Glad to see a lot of some regular faces back. And I know there was a couple that have been here the last few weeks that didn't show up tonight. So hopefully next week we'll see some of those guys as well. But yeah, we appreciate you, Christian. We'll let you go back and celebrate
Yes,
with
sir.
the team.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, that's just going to leave us with Garrett Kinder here. Garrett, it's Liam up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Liam, what's up, bud?
I tell you what, man, you ran virtually a flawless race. Just came down to a little bit different pit strategy. Did you think you were going to be able to get him there at the end?
Man, I knew it was going to be tough. This first time Christian's been back in a while, but I remember him being fast. I know Matt's fast, so I knew whenever the pit strategy started varying a little bit that it was going to be kind of a toss-up, coin flip kind of thing. I don't know what I could have done any different. Beginning of the race, it was the dilemma I had whenever I saw, you could make it almost to halfway. I think it was 48 laps you could make it. I knew some guys were going to just save fuel and split it even, and then I had to make the decision of whether I was just going to run hard and try and build a gap and make it work, or fuel save with them. And I decided I wanted to be on the offensive, so I decided to let it eat and then hammer down and have a good time with it. A lot of fun. I got to about 5.5 seconds back, and I'd cooked off my right rear there on that last run, and was really hanging it out sideways off of 4. Just didn't have anything for him there at the end. A lot of fun though.
Yeah, you were definitely wheeling that thing. We've watched on board a couple times with you sliding coming up off of 2. How was it out there? I mean, you took 2 pit stops, so you were able to go hard on both your sets of tires. What did you think about the tire degradation? And
Man, it was kind of weird. The first run, I'd kind of saved tire a little bit and realized I didn't really need to whenever I got down pit road, and it was still, high 80s. Clean air has a lot to do with that, and I was up front, clean air on the nose. So next run, I pushed it pretty hard and just cooked off. It felt like I cooked off the right front. And I said, well, I don't need to do that, even though I was still in clean air. So I started backing entry up and picking the throttle up a little bit sooner, and it cooked off the right rear. So pretty balanced car. It was super tight, early run. Cold tires were treacherous a little bit. They'd throw you up in the wall with a heartbeat. But it was a lot of fun. You kind of play around with it and pick which tire you were going to cook off. I just cooked off the right rear on the last run.
well, awesome stuff. Great analysis and great drive for you today. You come home third. Is there anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, thank all the guys over here at Midday Racing League. I think we had 10 cars over here today, so a lot of fun doing that. Having somewhere to race in the afternoon is always a good time. Thank Kinder Farm and Ranch Ratchet Speed Shop. Been with me since day one. Big Friggin' Cross 5 cattle coolers. Want to keep your stuff hot and keep your stuff cold for cheaper and longer than anybody else. Make sure you check out Big Frig and Cross 5 cattle coolers at bigfrig.com. Ray Page and Andy over at Wolfpack Racing, all my teammates across various league, Reaper Racing, Poman Motorsports, and of course my short tracking guys over at Velocity. A lot of fun, just like coming out and hanging out with these guys.
Stuff, Garrett. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining us up in the booth. Congratulations once again on the 3rd place run.
Thank you, bub.
Well, that's going to about do it for us here today. We've seen yet another clean and green race here for the Midday Racing League. These guys know how to put on a show, and they know how to do it clean. That's always a lot of fun to let these strategies play out. We saw a one-stop strategy prevail in the end over a two-stop strategy from one of the fastest all weekend. Garrett Kinder winds up about 5 seconds short of the race win, though, and that's going to be Matt Sisler's big win for the weekend. 3rd one of the season. Increases that points lead, and he's going to move into Charlotte feeling pretty good about his shots at a championship. That'll do it for us here, though, on Sim Racing Media. We'll show you the results one more time. We got Matt Sisler, Christian Ruse, Garrett Kinder, Dave Hunt, Rooster Rodden, Rick Helms, Terry Atwood, Nick Atwood, Matt Metler, and William Baker. Appreciate everybody who tuned in today. Got to watch some afternoon action here at Texas before the fantastic weekend we're going to see at North Wilkesboro. Also got the Monsters of Speed All-Star Race on tonight. Dynasty Racing League tomorrow. Sunday night NASCAR. And the Virtual America's Short Track Tour also on Sunday. So we'll catch you guys at one of our next shows. Appreciate you guys tuning in once again, and we'll catch you next time.